Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. This time it's on my Endymion Pendulum deck. And let's just say I made some big changes to the deck, mainly to try out some new tech options. And honestly, I kind of like the way this deck has gone, and it's a pretty solid rogue option. Before we get started, I just want to apologize now for my long absence. Honestly, I know I've been I haven't been as active as I would like to be. It's just I've been busier more than usual, especially at work, but things are starting to slow down. And right now I'm in the process of just wrapping things up with my college semester, so I should be done by this Sunday. And once then, I'll definitely be a lot more active here and there. So just bear with me, guys. But anyway, going back to the deck, it's now 45 cards in the main deck, and you'll see why in just a moment. And yeah, I think you guys will enjoy this. So starting off with the main deck, I'm playing 3 copies of Mighty Master of Magic. So this is your main boss monster. And he's really good. He's really nuts because the fact that he can pop cards, and the cool thing about it is that he can't be veilered in this process because it's a pendulum effect on when you do that. So, and he also has a spell and trap card negation on the monster effect. And the cool thing is that as long as he has spell counters, he can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So that's pretty neat. Next up, 2 copies of Reflection. So Aaron already knows what this does. This is the card that special summons from your hand. As long as you have a monster that can hold a spell counter. I'm sorry. And it's a level 7 monster, so you can easily go into cards like Absolute Dragon and so on. For the one-ofs, I'm only running with the 1 Magister, just because, he special summons from the extra deck, and I mainly need it for the high scale. And of course, the 1 copy of Servant, which summons from the main deck. Sadly, it's at 1, but, it is what it is. Next, your main opener is going to be 3 copies of Magical Abductor. So her pendulum effect is that if you have 3 spell counters, you can remove and search out any pendulum monster. And her monster effect is basically the same thing. The only difference is that you can search out any level 1 spellcaster. And that's actually pretty neat because, the fact that you can search out any level 1 spellcaster. Now, the main target at the time for this was generally Mythical Beast Jackal. But I'm actually not running that card. In fact, I'm running something slightly better, in my opinion, just because, in case you do have to force yourself to normal summon this card, it does it just kind of conflicts with the whole normal summon deal. Now, of course, you could always pendulum summon this out, but you don't really want to waste your pendulum summon too early. So that's kind of why I decided to change my formula on this. But again, we'll get to that momentarily. All right, so now we're moving on to the Mythical Beast engine. The Mythical Beast engine is slightly smaller than it was before. I'm running 2 copies of Mythical Beast Cerberus, or Master Cerberus, I'm sorry. Only because, the fact that you can't really pendulum summon this card out, it's a level 8 monster, so its scale's too high. Plus, you just really need it just to search out your Jackal King, so that's the only reason why I'm running it at 2. Speaking of which, 2 copies of Jackal King, it's one of your main negations. Negates any monsters, and it's not a hard once per turn, so as long as you have multiple copies, you can negate up to 2 times per turn. And of course, the 1 Garuda. I still love running this card because, it bounces back monsters. So a hand trap that can't really be hit with Call by the Grave, so that's neat. All right, so that's it for the Mythical Beast engine. Now we're moving on to one of my other side engines. I'm running 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer, so this is still a really powerful opener too. The fact that it gives you instant access to your Time Gazer Magician, there's really not much else to say about that. It's a good extender. It's a level 6 monster, so if you wanted to go to some rank 6 plays, mainly Norito, this is the card to do it, really. So, I like to use cards that don't really commit to the normal summon too much, so that's kind of the idea behind this deck. Alright, so now for my new side tech, I'm actually running 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This is basically the budget version of Magician's Souls. You can discard any card from your hand just to special summon this card, and it's not once per turn this way. And you can search out your Dark Magician. Now, Dark Magician, you could pendulum summon him out if you wanted to, because, he is a level 7 monster. But he's mainly there just for fodder for cards like Allure of Darkness. But again, if you do manage to get this card out, it's not too bad. I mean, you can always consistently search this guy out with Apprentice Illusion. Because Apprentice Illusion, you mainly just use her to discard any dead cards you might have. Or if you have a card that you can easily revive, like one of your Endymions. Yeah, that's just kind of like the idea behind Apprentice Illusion. And honestly, I feel like it's just slightly better than Magician Souls for this strategy, at least. And plus, again, she's level 6, so rank 6 plays right there, so yeah. All right. For my spicy tech, like I said, I'm not running a Mythical Beast Jackal in this deck, mainly because I found a better target for Magical Abductor's monster effect. I'm actually running 1 copy of Jester Conflict. So the idea behind is that, the fact that you can special summon this card literally for free. It's a spellcaster monster, so you can easily use this for cards like Spellbook of Knowledge, or you could just use it to link off into Celine, Queen of the Master Magician. So like just their Confi is just free link material really, and it's not hard to get this card. Like I said, it's searchable. Even if you hard open it, it's fine. You know, you can always just special summon it and normal summon another monster if you need to. Next, one copy of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. So yes, I am running the Spellbook engine, so 2 secrets to go with them, and 1 copy of Knowledge. So that's really the idea behind, you know, definitely want to get a little extra draw power. All right, so now we're moving on to the main spells. I'm actually running 3 copies of Spell Power Mastery. So you generally just use this to search out your Endymion cards. You can even search out the field spell with this, so just bear that in mind. And plus you get to add spell counters for anything that can hold one. So yeah, Spell Power Mastery, really nice. 3 Mythical Institution, you know, everyone already knows what this does. It's really good to search out your mythical beast monsters. So yeah, nothing else to say about that. 2 Magical Citadel of Endymion, you know, again, this whole deck's reliant on just building up spell counters, so you definitely want to keep building and building and building, and Magical Citadel also allows you to spend spell counters from this card in case you need to, so pretty nice. 1 Terraforming, you know, just search it out. And once again, I'm giving a shout out to my friend Cody just for giving me this idea. I'm actually running 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents plus 1 Toon World. And the idea behind this, like, since Celine basically gets spell counters from the graveyard for any number of spells, this is just a good way to build up your spell counters even more. So, like, you play all 3 you use Toon Table to search itself out, and for the last copy, you search out Toon World, play Toon World, and you can pop it with Mighty Master of Magic later on. So, it's a really neat idea, and plus, basically, in a nutshell, kind of acts like a form of Upstart Goblin, because, like, even though I'm running 45 cards, I'm really technically running 41, since these cards essentially just search themselves out. So yeah, Toon Table of Contents is pretty nuts in this deck. And if you have 1 dead copy, like I said, it's the reason why I'm running cards like Apprentice Illusion Magician rather than Magician's Souls is because 1, it's cheaper, and plus she discards any card. So that's just the idea behind that. So yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, for the rest of my cards, it's really just draw power cards. I'm running 2 copies of Desires. I didn't feel like 3 was needed. I mean, I could always run 3 if I wanted to. 2 Allure, and of course the 1 copy of Upstart Goblin. You know, it's pretty standard. Alright, so now we're moving on to the extra deck. Extra deck's also pretty standard. I'm running 3 copies of Celine. This card's broken. She gains 3 spell counters for every spell that's in your graveyard. And once per turn, you can remove 3, and you can special summon 1 spellcaster from your hand or your graveyard in defense mode. So that's pretty nice. And also, as long as she has a spell counter while you control an Endymion, she cannot be targeted for attacks. So Celine, definitely a fairly difficult monster to bring out, and it's super easy to turbo into this card. It really is. It just requires 2+ monsters, including a spellcaster, so it could be anything. So any link 2 plus a spellcaster, yeah, that's pretty nice. 1 Crowley, you know, just to get the spellbook engine started. 1 Daybreaker, you know, pretty generic for this deck. I'm just temporarily running this until I get my IP Masquerena in the mail. Yes, I am expecting an IP, but for right now, I'm running 1 copy of B-Cop. Once I do get my IP, I'm definitely replacing B-Cop, but if you don't have access to IP, this is also a good budget option if you want to run. Zephyr Metaltron, you know, pretty good too. 1 Boral Sword for the OTK, Appaloosa for more negation, and Mech Knight Crusadia Evermax. So, all standard options in my opinion. You know, there are other budget options, but this is just the choices I'm going with. I'm running a lot of ranked monsters, so I'm running the Magister Paladin. The idea is just to get a free Pendulum monster from your deck at the end phase of the turn, and it just requires any 2 level 4s Pendulum monsters, so pretty simple. 1 Abyss Dweller, you know, just to stop like graveyard reliant decks. 1 Norito for more spell and trap negation. Absolute Dragon, just so you can link it off into Ody's Vortex Dragon, or link off Absolute Dragon to get out a free Vortex Dragon, I mean. So yeah, pretty simple. And the fact that we're an MR5 or Master Rule Revised, you know, you can summon any of these into your main monster zones now. For the side deck, for a side tech, I'm actually running 3 copies of Marionette Might. This is mainly for the Eldritch matchup. It's experimental, so I still need to test that out a little bit more, but it's not too bad. 3 Denko Sekka, just bring this out just so you can stop like back row decks, and you can go into your Pendulum combos if you need to. So yeah, Denko Sekka's not too bad either. 3 Call by the Grave if I need it. 3 Cosmic Cyclone, and you know, just to stop any other spell heavy decks, I'm running Secret Village of Spellcasters plus the 1 set rotation. So it's a pretty neat idea, so I figured just go with it. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys again in the tutorial.